Hi, this is Sweet June. How's everybody doing today? Coming back at you. Beautiful day up here in Michigan. Is a little nippy. I want to talk about real quick this young man, Dante Wright, down in Minneapolis. Um, Allegedly, well, it's not allegedly; it's a fact. Um, he got, make a long story short, he had a traffic stop, and I said something about an air freshener or no tags on the license plate. I'm not exactly clear as to why they stopped him. Was it about the tags or the air freshener? I don't know. That I keep hearing something about an air freshener or tags, so I'm not 100% clear as to why he was stopped. But they showed the video of him being stopped, and they were handcuffing him, and I guess he panicked and tried to get back into the car. And when he tried to get back into the car to take off, because they found out he had warrants, the lady officer pulled, instead of, she claims that she pulled her taser, was going to pull her taser, but she pulled her gun instead and shot the young man. And I'm very, very disturbed by this. This story is, I was watching it on CNN last night, them talk about it, and this young man, first of all, this young man is the same age as my youngest son. He's 20 years old. And I don't think I think that's an outright lie. She claims that this woman, this officer, has been on the force for many years. She's a veteran officer. You mean to tell me you can't tell the difference between a taser and a gun? Come on. I went to the gun shop here in my city, and I was thinking about purchasing a taser. And the man showed me the taser, and he was telling me, them tasers are expensive. They're like over $300. And he said that I still would have to get the training. Like when you get purchase a gun, they train you before you can get your CDL. I don't know if you still have to have a license for the taser or not, but he said I still would have to get the training and stuff to learn how to use it and stuff. But he showed me the taser, and it's nothing like a gun. This is nothing like a gun. Now, I don't know if the police tasers are different than a taser that a consumer would buy. I don't know. But looking at a taser and looking at a gun, it's a big difference to me. A civilian, don't even carry a gun, and they look different to me. So a veteran officer, you mean to tell me a veteran officer don't know the difference between a taser and a gun? And they showed the video, and it showed her pulling out the gun, and she had the gun right in front of her. And the gun was right in front of her for a hot second before she pulled the trigger. So you mean to tell me you didn't know you were holding a gun? See, I don't believe that. I have a very difficult time believing that. I think, now this is what I think. I think because the officers are required to have body cams on them. I think that because she knew she had a body cam on her, she wanted to get away with shooting. She wanted to shoot this young man and use the excuse that, oh, I was trying to grab my taser, so she can get away with shooting this young man. She figured, I'll go ahead and shoot him, and I'll make the excuse that I'll make it seem like I was trying to grab my taser, so she can get away with it. Because she knew the officers are required to carry a body cam. So she knew that she had a body cam on her. So she knew there was a camera on her. So she figured she'll pull a gun, shoot him with the gun, and just say, I'll play it off, pull off her award-winning performance and play it off and act like she meant to pull her taser, but she really intended on shooting the young man. That's what I think. That's my theory. Okay. That's my theory. Like, if you know you're being watched versus You don't know you're being watched versus you know you're being watched. If you know you're being watched, your movements are going to be, you're going to move differently because you know you're being watched. If you know you're being watched, you're going to move differently versus if you're being watched, if you don't know you're being watched. If you don't know you're being watched, you're going to move regularly, You're going to move differently than what you would if you know you're being watched by a camera. You feel me? So I do not believe this under any circumstances. Do I believe that this was an accident? I do not believe. It's very disturbing to me because this young man was the same age as my son. Yes, he made the mistake by getting back in the car and he took off after she shot him. He took off in the car and he crashed because they say they tried to revive him and he died at the scene. And I was watching it on CNN last night and they got the aunt on the phone, the auntie on the phone. She said she was on her way from Alabama. I think it was Alabama to she was on the road. She was driving. She had to pick up her mom, and they was going to go up there to be with her brother and her mother-in-law, her sister-in-law. And she said that after I heard his sister, I cried. I watched the whole thing on CNN last night, and I just cried. After I heard the sister talk. She said that when she talked to her brother, his father, and she said the tears and she said to hear him cry the way he cried, I just sat there and cried and prayed, and it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking to this same narrative that keeps playing out over and over and over again. They say this city is only 10 miles from where they're having the George Floyd trial, the Chauvin, whatever his name is, the police officer that killed George Floyd. This town is only 10 miles away, and it's an uprising. They're having what they call an uprising. They're rioting, protesting. They're doing that. I was watching that last night too. So let me know in the comment section if you guys have caught that. I was just very disturbed by this whole situation with this unacceptable. You a veteran police officer. I do not believe under any circumstances that it was an accident. I just think that because she knows she had a body cam on her and she knows she was being watched, that she played it off and act like she was trying to pull her taser, but she really meant to pull her firearm and shoot that young man. That's what my theory is, and that's what I think. I do not think it was an accident. And I'm just so tired of the same narrative being played out over and over with black people getting killed by the police, getting shot by the police, getting profiled by the police. Then they had another incident, but that's a whole nother video, about this black officer, Army officer, that got tased. He got, what do you call that spray? That spray that they spray at you. They maced him in the face because he was scared to get out of the car. They stopped him for a routine traffic stop. Now, I've been stopped many times. Many times I've been stopped. Not one time I was required to get out of the car. And I've been stopped for expired tags. Yeah, I'm guilty. I've been stopped for expired tags before, about 3 times. Never, not one time was I required to get out of the vehicle. That is not a requirement. You do not have to get out of your vehicle if you have an expired tag or you just purchased a new car. I got stopped one time because my mechanic sold me a van. I think he sold me one of my vans. He sold me all 3 of my vans. And it still had the dealer plate on it. Or maybe I didn't buy it yet. Maybe I was just paying on it. It still had the dealer plate on it. He still had the dealer plate on it. I didn't, because I was in the process of purchasing it or whatever. I didn't have my proper plates on it. And I was in the next city and I got stopped. At that time, I still was not required to step out of the vehicle. I got stopped in a rental car before. Still was not required to get out of the vehicle. Got stopped another time when I didn't have all my stuff. I had purchased a new car. I didn't have everything legitimate, my tags and everything on the car. Once again, was not required to get out of the vehicle. Got racially profiled and accused of robbing my neighbors. And I told that story. You got to look back at my archives. I told that story. That happened back in 2016, I think it was. You had to search my archives to get to that video. I told that story. Still was not required. Kept my hands on the steering wheel at all times, but still was not required to get out of the vehicle. Because these police up here where I'm at, they pretty much follow procedure for the most part. And if you talk to them like you got some sense and you be nice to them, they appreciate you being nice and kind. And I being kind. And that time when I got profiled, accused of robbing my neighbor, me and my son got accused of robbing the neighbor. I was a little testy, but I still was calm. I still remained calm. I had an attitude, and so I should have an attitude because you're accusing me of doing something that I didn't do. But I still remained calm, and I kept my hands on the steering wheel at all times. And I didn't make any sudden moves. All those times that I was stopped, I was not required to get out of the vehicle. So when they stop you for tags or something like that, you are not required to get out of the vehicle. So I don't understand why they tried to make this man get out of the vehicle. That's what I don't understand. And he was a lieutenant and served his country, was a veteran. And they tased him. They say this happened back in December, but I guess he's suing them now, so it's coming. The videos is coming to light. So this same narrative just keeps playing out over and over, where black people are getting profiled, racially profiled, stereotyped. Our black men and women are getting killed by the police. And I pray to God for my family members. I pray for my sons that this never happens to them. Like I said, these cops here where I'm at, I got to give it to them. They follow procedure. Knock, knock. They follow procedure for the most part. I would say 90% of the time, they follow procedure, and they're pretty good, So I got to give them that. But I don't know what's wrong with those cops down there in Minnesota. I have no idea what the heck is the matter with those cops down there. The FBI needs to do an extensive investigation on them because they're not following procedure. Not even a police officer, but I've been stopped enough times to know what the procedure is and what they're supposed to do. And they talked to an expert police officer, and he was saying that if the young man got in his car to go away, they could to get away. They could have went on and let him go because they already had his license plate number, so they could track the number to the address where he was at. They said they still could have called him, so it was no need for them to even do what they did. Yes, the young man was wrong for trying to get in the car to escape. I'm not excusing that, but I do not think that was a mistake under any circumstances. She meant to pull her gun. A veteran police officer don't know the difference between a gun and a taser. I do not believe that under any circumstances. Hit me up in the comment section if you've seen this. It's all over the news because they're rioting down there because of it. Let me know what your thoughts are. Do you think that she's telling the truth? Let me know. Hit me up. Let me know what your thoughts are. I don't believe it for one bit. Okay, hit that subscribe button. I'm just very disturbed. This young man was the same age as my son. It just breaks my heart. My heart and prayers go out to the family. Hit that subscribe button, like button, share button. Till the next video, peace and love. This is Sweet Joe.